Hello, Karen from Quantum Heart Awakening. Today we're just going to do a collective check-in. It's been a while, so let's just take a little taste of what's moving in the energy. All right, let's get an overall card. All right, Spirit, what are we working with today? What is the theme of this reading? What do we need to know? Individuality in reverse. Okay, I'm going to keep this on the side. You know, this is a call to a higher individuation. Anything else you want to say about that, Spirit? Anything else before I move on? Personal growth, I mean. Okay, anything else, Spirit? What does this say? Timeout and moderation. Okay, yeah, I mean, here we go, and they're all reversals. So, you know, sometimes after massive trials and tribulations or big chapters of change and chaos or abrasion or challenge, you know, we have to actually take stock of what we just moved through. And there's something here that's in the collective that we are being called to, you know, take a time out to really reflect on how far we've come and how specifically how far we've grown in terms of temperance, in terms of our ability to remain diplomatic and balanced and unblended with whatever's in front of us. It could be emotions, it could be circumstances, it could be family, career, job, really whatever is showing up for you in the present moment. We're going to challenge ourselves to look through the lens of moderation. How are we remaining tempered in the face of this chaos? I don't know why I'm getting the energy is pooling in my chest, and it's messing with my breathing. So that's very, telling. And then in the unconscious position, we have leadership here. So, and it's in the reverse. So again, you know, part of the higher call to step into this higher leadership. And what is leadership? Leadership is being able to appropriately use our intuition so that we can choose where to navigate ourselves, our ideas, our psyche, our family, our careers, whatever it is in life. But to step into leadership, higher leadership means that we have to create intentional space to connect with our true selves, our higher selves, the self that has full and clear access to our intuition. Excuse me. Ooh, I feel a little rusty. Okay. Let's see where else we're going to go. You know, when I started the reading, I started, again, like I said, that energy started, you know, it was almost spiraling in my chest area, and now I'm getting really hot. So, you know, let's just honor that. Many people have been running a marathon right now. That's how I feel. I feel like fatigued. I feel, as if I just ran a marathon. And so let's honor where you're at. Okay, what do we need to know about individuating from our former selves? What do we need to know about stepping into this divine leadership? Okay, hold on. We have an explosion. All right, we have go the distance between worlds in reverse and message in a bottle. Message in a bottle is my, connecting with the other side card. For me, it's when we can calm our inner sea long enough, that is when we will be gifted with some sort of message from the other side. And isn't it interesting that we have between worlds in reverse? So there's something here that we're being called as a collective to step into the transpersonal way of existing. That is to say, a way of existing where we can intentionally, consciously holds one foot in two worlds. And right now it's in the reverse, and we're being called to go the distance, to really take it over the finish line and allow ourselves to incorporate and call back to us our divine selves, the acknowledgement that there's this whole other world out there that is this mystical world that is at our disposal if we are willing, ready, and able to engage with it. Let me just see what's in the unconscious. Yeah, okay. We're getting repeating messages here. So in the unconscious, we have building blocks. So the unconscious position for me is what's being pushed away into the shadow, or what is being hidden. So this is a double-edged message here. So the first message is you have all of the tools you need to build your infrastructure, whatever that looks like, but you are not claiming them. You are pushing them away. Maybe it's limiting beliefs, maybe it's fears, but everything you need is already within you. It's a matter of, will you choose to wield your free will in a way that says, I can do this, and claim your building blocks. Okay, I'm losing the thread of the other message. Hold on, it'll come back to me. There was a connection with these messages. Yeah, I guess it's actually not such a different message. It's similar in that, who builds new infrastructure? Leaders. So again, there's this part of self, part of the collective that is maybe refusing to believe that you actually can step into this role as the divine sovereign leader of your life. When I bring that up, what shows up in your body? If I invite you to step into this role as a leader in your life, what comes up for you? Is there any contraction? Notice if you get any twinge in your body of anything. Do you cringe a little bit? Does that sound daunting, overwhelming? Name the emotion and then try to feel into where it's showing up in your body, because that will be a roadmap, right? That will reveal kind of, which chakras are maybe not spinning or functioning as best and as balanced as they could be. And then you can dissect from there, like, okay, what's your work? I can't do, this is a collective reading. I can't guide, the many individuals watching this, receiving this message, but I can empower you to ask yourself powerful questions, to bring your presence to your interior world and really drop in to feel where you are blocked, and then what are the emotions or ideas surrounding that blockage. When I brought up the leadership, stepping into the divine sovereign of your life, hold on. Wow. Okay. Nope. We're going to end this message. It just cut me off. All right. Where do we want to go, Spirit? Yeah, let's get some of these New Orleans cards. Anything else, Spirit? Anything else that would support this collective in stepping into their own sovereignty? What would support them in going the distance? What would support them in this individuation process? I mean, I can't make this up. So we have keep going in reverse. Do you see this card? It's like this figure who's holding a lantern, took off her shoes, and is walking down this sort of yellow brick road, right? So there's a lot of Wizard of Oz energy in the collective right now. So I think this is just pretty funny. A funny way to, a funny nod to what's actually in the collective consciousness. It's really interesting too. And I had this conversation with someone about, all of Dorothy's friends who are helping her on the path represent different energetic archetypes or archetypal journeys or pieces of self that she gets to confront and bring with her and work this kind of psychological drama out in this, adventure, and confront fear and, compassion and bravery and courage. And, I just think it's just a funny little thing. So we have keep going in the reverse. So, all right. So in the collective, if there's some of you that have given up if there are some of you that said, you know what, I'm just going to let go, or I'm no longer interested in pursuing XYZ, you're being called to just reevaluate that. Listen, I'm not here to tell you what to do. However, you are being called to make sure that that is your choice. If you are called somewhere and you are now putting the kibosh on it, or if you are just pausing, or I don't want to use the word quitting, my goal in this moment is to get you to just ask the question, am I making a wise discernment, or am I making a choice out of fear? Am I making a choice out of exhaustion? Am I making a choice out of any other reason other than an aligned call to something else? That's not a small thing. So let me just let that breathe for a second. Anything else, Spirit? Anything else? Ooh. We have dreams. So really pay attention to your dreams right now, collective. Really, you've heard me say this many, many times, but keep a pad and a pen by your bed so that when you wake up, that you could write it down right away. I don't recommend using your phone because I think the being on the screen takes you out of it more, or kind of like wakes you up faster. I highly recommend writing it. And even before you open your eyes, ask yourself, like, when you're in that place between sleep and awake, ask yourself before you fully come back into your body, what is the overall feeling of this dream? Meaning, what were you feeling in the dream? Not after the dream, but in the dream. What was the overall feeling? Because to me, that's the umbrella energy of the dream. So even if you can't remember all of the details, because it's hard sometimes to remember dreams, if you can remember the overall feeling, then you can understand what energy you're operating in your subconscious. Okay. Anything else, Spirit? Anything else? So yeah, we're getting a lot of repeating messages here. Just to name them out, we're calling ourselves to higher sovereignty, individuating from who we thought we should be, what our parents thought we should be, the life we thought we should have had. We are learning temperance. We are learning to balance out the mental happenings within our hearts and minds. We are learning to call our spirit back from places it doesn't belong and step into a sovereign leadership. We could say we're leading ourselves by, quitting something or whatever, but you want to make sure that every choice you're making is in alignment. So even if you choose to pause something or stop something, make sure you're not pausing out of insecurity or fear, or fear of judgment, fear of failure, things like that. Make sure you're like, you know what? I'm no longer called to this, so I'm going to make a choice to pause this and begin this. Make sure that you're really okay with the choices that you're making them intentionally and consciously and not passively, okay? Yeah, we have this step back card. To me, this is like, take a step back and again, reevaluate, or not even reevaluate, evaluate what's moving in your life right now. Try to pause, try to create some safe, sacred, protected space where you can actually reflect on this wild journey that we call life. And then we have share your gifts in reverse. So yeah, okay, so I'm seeing this energy move through this reading. So until, I don't want to say it like this, but I'm going to. Until you can step into aligned leadership, you're not going to be able to share your gifts in a sustainable way, in a way that is tempered, in a way that balances both of your worlds. So say, this narrative's coming to mind, but say you work a corporate job and you read tarot on the side, or oracle, or you read tea leaves, or you're an energy healer. So often these things, sort of the way our society is, they put us in conflict and what's the word? Fragment ourselves. So we are learning not only to navigate this one foot in both worlds, but to actually merge these pieces of self. So this is really interesting. So here, where is it? Oh, individuality. So individuation is a big psychological journey. To individuate from your parents, that's probably the first like big one, is to kind of allow yourself to define who you are apart from your parents, apart from what they want for you, apart from the pressures they put on you. And then maybe the next level of individuation is from, other leader figures in your life, your boss, your religious leaders, spiritual leaders, to really call back your free will and to really make decisions on your own accord and not allowing other people's voices or insecurities or wants, needs, desires to speak for you, to make decisions about you and your own life. Okay, there was one more message here. Hold on, Spirit, what was it? All right, I'm getting it a little bit, but I'm sort of losing it. I thought it was interesting that, oh, yes. Okay, when I gave the analogy between like the corporate world and maybe your more spiritual, energetic experience, you're being called to individuate from the version of you that had fear around being judged either way. I know a million, that's excessive, I'm being dramatic, but I know many people who are in the healing arts that also maintain corporate jobs, and they would never let their worlds blend. They would never want their corporate people to find out about their spiritual work. And I was one of them for a while. I mean, I worked in a hospital, but wasn't super corporate, but it kind of was. And clinical's a whole nother world for some of you, that are involved in healthcare. It's like a whole nother beast. However, it was like I kind of had to naturally fragment and split part of myself. It was just the way I operated, and I got really good at compartmentalizing. But as I got deeper on my path, it was almost unavoidable. I started merging and blending these two, and it wasn't really up to me. It was like, okay, if Spirit is calling me to go in this direction, and I need to become this person with these skills and this level of mastery over my own psyche and emotional experience, I can't turn that off. It's like I can't turn off a calling. There's this concept of co-naturality, meaning we know what we know by virtue of being what we know. So it's like you don't need all the diplomas on the wall and all the whatever. If you are a certain way, if you've mastered certain things, then I can identify where you've been and what you've learned and accomplished by the fact that you're actually just living it. You're living that new reality. So it's very difficult to fragment yourself once you touch that wholeness. This is a really big deal. I hope it's landing in the right way. So again, you're being called to individuate from the part of self that felt you needed to fragment self in the first place. So that's what's kind of coming down the pike. That's the work that's kind of lurking ahead of the collective right now, to no longer fragment self, to step into wholeness, to bring all of who you are to wherever you are, to whatever you're doing, to whoever you're around. And I know that's going to be a really profound shift in collective consciousness when the scale tips and we reach a critical mass of self. Now remember, like consciousness, it's one consciousness. We all kind of are different threads of this vibrating grid that's feeding this one thing, right? This oneness. And so all it takes is just a critical mass until we tip the scale and make it collectively okay to be yourself, collectively okay to be different, collectively okay to struggle out loud, to be vulnerable, to speak the truth, to step into your power without fear of, without the ego's fear of being concerned of what it looks like or what it doesn't look like, right? It's really powerful stuff. I have a card here and I forget what it means every time. I think it means a gift. I'm going to say it improperly. I think it's lanyape, maybe. Let me just read it really quick. Yes, a gift. I'm sorry, pronounced lanyap. I don't know if I did that right, but that's the, you know. Okay, it says good intentions always pay off in one way or another. You've pulled this card because although things in your life may not have panned out exactly as you had anticipated, your karmic reward will be quite pleasant and may surprise you. Sometimes the best gifts are the unexpected ones. If you continue to live your life led by positive and loving thoughts and actions, the peaceful and pleasant results may surprise you. You know, this is a wonderful reminder. This is a wonderful, wonderful reminder that it is not up to us to attach to an outcome. Everything gifted to us in this life experience, in this journey, is strategically placed on your path so that you can get to the next level of where you're going. So I'm launching my personal business right now, and I've been working very hard. My website's up and running. By the way, it's KarenVitello.com. I will post it somewhere in all the places when it's ready. You can go on it now and book sessions and everything. But so I've been putting so much of my own life force into doing all the back end stuff, building out all the things I need to build out. Excuse me. Building out my office, decorating it, doing all those things. And I don't know if you can hear the sirens in the background. It's just a lovely underlining of what I'm about to say. So even though I've been doing all this stuff to feed my own projects, my own creativity, my own business, my own gifts and service to humanity, I've all of a sudden been asked and have had the opportunity to help other people organize their events. And I'm like, wow, that's really interesting, Spirit. Like, what the heck? Like, I don't have extra life force to invest in all these different things. I only have a limited amount of energetic currency. Like, what the heck is going on? Can't you see how hard I'm working? And, why would you pull me off path in this way? However, there are certain skills that I need to attain through helping others launch their stuff. There's certain things I've already reaped the benefits and the gifts of learning how to do stuff for other people that I then get to implement in my own life, in my own business, with my own creative projects. I couldn't have known that until I did it. So you're being called to understand that whatever's happening or not happening is a gift. It's an appropriate experience that was strategically planted on your path so that you could learn or let go or qualify for this next level of self, right? So understand that whatever's happening or not happening, whatever chaos is going on, and I know this is hard to hold, but even if it's tragic, even if it's the darkest crap that you're going through, understand that when chaos shows up in your life, this is actually divine safety. And this is where we have to start training our psyche to go. I just got full body chills as I said that. This is where we are going to understand that when the universe is dismantling your life, when crap is failing, when the tower moments are all around you, it could be job loss. It could be getting laid off. It could be a breakup. It could be, the project you put your whole life into failing. Like, whatever it is, understand that this is divine safety. That the universe, the quantum field is dismantling, dissolving what your present moment situation is to make way for something else, to understand the flow of things, to understand the quantum flow, the divine intervention of it all. Just FYI, in the unconscious, we have flow. So yeah, where are you fighting against the tide that's, the waves that are moving through your life? Let's just feel into that for a second. I don't want to move on yet because it feels really important. Whew, deep breath, everybody. So again, where are you pushing flow into the shadows? Where are you avoiding surrendering to that which wants to move through your life? You know, sometimes when, especially if things are kind of, if like chaos and destruction is around us, we work so hard to hold on. We work so hard to prevent, you know, the structure from crumbling down that we've worked so hard for. But what if the universe is dismantling it on purpose for your own good, for your own future, for your own next leg of the journey, and you're using all this energy to fight it, to fight against it, to swim upstream? You're being called to bring this flow out of the shadows into the light and allow these things to take place in your life. I'm very drawn to these spirals. There's so much movement in this card, right? As it should be. It's the flow card. But I'm very drawn to you've heard the quote before that, you know, the spiritual path is a spiral, right? We continue to circle back around to the exact same situation and circumstances until we can really receive our lesson. We continue to circle around, and you know, it's like this. It's a spiral. So if you're here experiencing something and then you go through the spiral and all of a sudden you're pissed because you're experiencing it again, you're over here now. You were over here before, but you're over here. And by being in a different location, you will have access to a different perspective. It's literally like viewing a park from one end of the park to the other. You're going to see different things. Maybe you'll see different wildlife. Maybe the weather is different or the wind patterns are different. You are going to have a different experience because you are different. Your position in life is different. So why fight against it, right? This spiral, and maybe you're back to like, you know, maybe you've really had it and you've worked so hard at the same thing for so long and it continues to not work out. Maybe the thing that you've never tried is actually just letting it go, detaching, surrendering. I'm going to leave that there. Let's see what else we can get. Whew. Let's see. Let me get some of these. I haven't used these in so long. All right, Spirit. Anything else? We're winding down to a close. Anything else you want to share? Wow, these cards are so stiff. I haven't used them in a while. All right, we got one. Let's see where we're going. Context. That's interesting. Can you say more, Spirit? Looking at that card, I see a dragonfly. I see a very youthful face, like a very young, innocent, pristinely precious nature being. Anything else, Spirit? I find it interesting that it's right under the message in a bottle. You know, okay, I get it, Spirit. I got the message. So sometimes we can receive a message and it just doesn't make sense. Like I've received messages sometimes and I'm like, I hear you loud and clear, Spirit, but it makes zero sense. So you're allowed to ask for context. So like if you see a feather on the ground and you didn't really ask a question or you're not struggling with something, you could say, God, like I'm aware. You brought my awareness to this feather on the sidewalk. What are we talking about here? Like, what is this referencing? Can you give me more information? You're being called to develop a deeper dialogue with Spirit. Okay, this is interesting. We have absence and we have, wait, let me look at that card for a second. I don't know if it's coming up on camera, but this person's eyes are all black. I don't know if they're closed or they're quite literally all black. To me, this is about seeing in the darkness, like trusting in the heart spirit to take you where you need to go in the absence of something, in the absence of light, in the absence of success, in the absence of the outcome that you wished you had, in the absence of a partner, in the absence of support. If you're struggling with rejection or abandonment or feeling unworthy in this moment, really allowing the darkness to exist, to not fight against the darkness, and to tune into your heart space to illuminate your path ahead of you. And then we have alchemy in reverse. Yeah, so it's like, God, this absence card is just so powerful. I'm going to put this actually under here. Yeah, it's like in order to alchemize the chaos that's surrounding the collective in this moment, there's really no other way. To me, this is telling me there is nowhere to run, there's nowhere to look, there's no leader to look up to. We are on our own. And by stepping into individual sovereignty, we will raise the collective consciousness, right? A rising tide lifts all ships, right? We don't have to lift ships individually. When we're lifting the collective consciousness, we are quite literally, recalibrating the quantum field in order to hold this much compassion, this much empathy, this much love, and tune into our higher selves, our higher sovereignty, this higher wisdom. Whew, okay. And let me just see what's in the unconscious. We have magnetism. Okay, what's coming up in this card, again, remember the unconscious position is what is being pushed into the shadows or what is being hidden. So two things here, either your own charisma and magnetism is being hidden from you. Listen, who you are is who you are. Who your soul is, the amount of light that your soul contains never changes. You get, from the second you are, from the second of the moment of conception, there's light, literally light. This has been scientifically measured, that light goes off, and scientists can't explain it other than they can identify that the moment of conception, light is infused. There's literally a literal flash of light. So from the moment of conception to the moment you leave, and maybe even beyond, we don't know that information. You have this magnetism, your own unique soul blueprint, your energetic DNA holds for you. Now, we could be blocked from understanding our own magnetism because we're falling for the illusions, that we're not worthy, the illusion that we're not loved, the illusion that we are alone in this world, right? But your job on this planet is to excavate your own bliss, your own ecstasy, your own joy, wonder, gratitude, to really excavate your own light as if you were excavating at an archaeological dig, right? What they have, those cool little tools. They have like a teeny tiny mini chisel and hammer, and then they have that little brush thingy. You are being called to spend, and if you've ever watched an archaeological dig, they move very slowly, right? Because God forbid they damage the artifacts that may or may not be there. And it takes a very diligent steward of that hammer and chisel to understand, okay, am I hammering dirt? Am I hammering rock? Or am I hammering, a million-year-old artifact? That takes a lot of intuition, a lot of presence, and a lot of divine discernment. A lot of wisdom needs to flow through that moment to make appropriate choices. So I'm not saying this is easy to excavate the soul, but I am saying it is all of our divine work here. Woo! Beautiful, beautiful reading. Let's get some of these wisdom cards if I could find them. I just reorganized all my cards and now I'm all confused. Okay. I never use these. I think these are Gabrielle Bernstein's decks. I have 2 of them, and I never ever use them. Let's see. Spirit, anything you want to share with us as we close? Anything else? Yes, we have a few. When I move my body, I feel empowered, cleansed, and strong. I bring peace with me wherever I go. Anything else, Spirit? My high vibe thoughts create health in my body, peace in my mind, and love in my heart. Today, I consciously choose to think loving thoughts, take compassionate actions, and bring forth peaceful energy. I honor my self-worth by asking for what I want. Do you see the kind of theme? Okay, so the themes are body, self-worth, and what was the other one? Oh, peace. There's just... And it makes sense to me because there's not a lot of peace in this reading, right? One of our first cards was this individuality card. We're being called to individuate. So I just want to honor what that process actually is. When we individuate, we are quite literally breaking something. We are breaking chains that are attached to us, that how do I say this? We are breaking the chains of our former identity. When we're younger, we are identified through our families, through our parents, through our family of origin, right? When we get older, maybe we're identified through our job. So we are, I don't want to say cauterizing, that's not the right. We are breaking these chains so that at the end of this process, we could stand as a true sovereign individual, to really, have no connections around us. I don't want to say it like, I hope no one's taking it like we have to be these, isolated individuals. No, it's that we can move through the world and make wonderful connections and have wonderful relationships, but to do so without identifying yourself through these different relationships. Does that make sense? Let me just look at the unconscious before we close. It says, my friendships support me, nourish me, and inspire me. This is what's in the unconscious. Okay, message I'm getting for those of you who resonated with the corporate world and the healing world. So you're allowed to show the people you deem as friends this other side of you. So now if you're feeling that your friendships do not support you, nourish you, or inspire you, two things. One, it's time to identify, is that the truth? Is that your truth, that they really are not showing up for you? Or were you not courageous enough to really show them who you were? So before you label your friends as not being, supportive friends, look in the mirror and take accountability for what's showing up on your side of the street. Are they shitty friends, or have you been too nervous or scared or fearful to show your friends who you truly are? Now, next step, if you show your friends your soul, your gifts, your true version of self, and they then do not support you, yeah, it might be time for some wise discernment. Maybe those are not the friends you want in your life. And that's where your divine boundaries come into play, right? That's a whole nother reading I could do. So really take accountability for the people that you are calling friends and family. And the hard part is if it is your actual family and they're not supporting you, again, circle back to our first message. We are being called to individuate from family. Your family should love you no matter where you go, no matter what you are experiencing. Even if they don't understand your life, there should be a level of acceptance, and remember, the more illuminated you become, the more it's going to shine a light on the lives of the people around you. And most people don't like that. Most people don't want to be awakened from their slumber. We cannot control their reactions to our choices, our sovereignty, right? If they truly love you, I think they'll be inspired and motivated by your path, or at minimum, they'll support you even if they don't get it, right? However, if you find that your new sovereignty, your new level of light that you carry within your heart starts to piss people off, starts to trigger people around you, understand that that's their stuff. That is not your stuff. You are becoming this illuminated mirror. And by stepping into that divine light, it is mirroring back to all whoever's around you, all the places where they are not illuminated, all the places where they do not have what you have, that much love, that much empathy, that much self-esteem, that much confidence in and conviction in what you're doing and what you're creating in the world. Whew. Okay, I'm going to leave it there. This was a lovely, lovely reading. I'm feeling a lot of gratitude. I'm feeling the tears well up. This is the work, right? This is the divine work that we all show up. We fall down and get back up. We fall down and get back up. We fall down and we get back up. That is the path. I'm sending you so much love. I hope this was supportive, and I will see you in the next one.